Let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat alone, without your phone, without noise, without anyone watching, and asked yourself honestly, why am I not where I thought I'd be by now? Not in an angry way, not in a dramatic way, just quietly. Do you ever feel like time is moving but you are standing still? Like days are passing, plans are being made in your head, but nothing is really changing. You wake up, you scroll, you plan, you promise yourself today will be different, and somehow today becomes tomorrow, tomorrow becomes next month, and the dream stays exactly where it was, inside you. You are not lazy, you are not broken, you are not weak. You are just tired of starting over, tired of feeling excited at the beginning and disappointed at the end. Tired of telling people what you're going to do and avoiding their eyes later. Tired of carrying a version of yourself in your mind that never quite shows up in real life. And the hardest part, you know you are capable of more. That quiet knowing never leaves you. It follows you into the night. It sits with you when everything goes silent. And tonight, I want to sit with you there. Not to push you, not to shout at you, not to fix you, just to talk, slowly, honestly, because this story might feel uncomfortably familiar. There was once a person like you, not special, not famous, not different from the rest, just human. Let's call him Adam. Adam lived an ordinary life. He woke up early, rushed through mornings, and fell asleep tired at night. From the outside, everything looked fine. But inside, Adam carried big dreams, not loud dreams, quiet ones, dreams he thought about while walking alone, dreams that visited him late at night when the world was asleep. He wanted to build something meaningful. He wanted to become disciplined. He wanted to feel proud of himself, not in a loud way, in a deep, calm way. But Adam had a pattern. Every few weeks something would spark, a video, a quote, a conversation, and suddenly his chest would feel warm with excitement. This is it, he would think. This time I'm serious. He would write plans, big plans. He would imagine the future version of himself, focused, respected, confident. And before he even took the first real step, he would talk. He would tell friends. He would post about it. He would explain his vision. And something strange would happen. He would feel proud. Not because he had done anything, but because people nodded, smiled, encouraged him. Wow, that's amazing. You're going to do great. I believe in you. And for a moment that praise felt like progress. Pause, the first week would start strong. Adam would wake up motivated. Work hard, push himself. But then life would do what life always does. Things would get boring, slow, quiet, no comments, no applause, no one watching, and the work would feel heavy. He would miss a day, then another. He would tell himself, I'll restart properly next week. Next week would come and go. Soon the excitement faded. The dream felt distant. And shame quietly took its place. Adam avoided thinking about it, avoided people he had told, and after some time another spark would come, and the cycle would repeat. Each time it hurt a little more. Not loudly, not dramatically, just a small crack inside, a quiet loss of trust in himself. He started to say things like, I'm just not disciplined. I always mess things up. Maybe this isn't for me. And the worst part, on the outside he still looked okay, but alone he felt stuck. Like he was watching life through a window. One evening, after another unfinished attempt, Adam sat alone on a bench in a small park. It was quiet. No music. No phone. Just the sound of wind moving through trees. An older man sat nearby. They didn't talk at first. Minutes passed. Then the man spoke calmly. You look tired, he said. Adam smiled politely. I guess I am. The man nodded. Not body tired, he said. Life tired. That landed deep. Adam didn't know why, but he started talking, not complaining, not explaining, just releasing. He spoke about dreams, about starting and stopping, about feeling behind. The man listened, didn't interrupt, didn't react much. When Adam finished, the man looked at the ground for a moment. Then he said something simple. Do you know how a seed grows? Adam shrugged. It's planted and watered. The man smiled softly. Yes. But what matters most is what happens when no one is watching. He picked up a small stone from the ground. When a seed is planted, he said, nothing happens on the surface for a long time. No sound, no movement. No proof. If you dig it up every day to check, you kill it. The seed grows in silence, in darkness, underground, and only when the work is done does it show itself. The man looked at Adam. Most people, he said, dig up their seed too early. They talk about it, show it, expose it, and they wonder why nothing grows. That night, Adam couldn't sleep, not because he was excited, because he felt exposed. He realized something painful. He loved the feeling of being seen as someone who would do great things, more than the slow, lonely work of actually becoming that person. Talking gave him a shortcut. Praise gave his brain a reward without the effort, and his mind learned the wrong lesson. Our brains are simple in one way. They chase rewards. When you talk about your goals and receive praise, your brain releases a small sense of achievement. It doesn't know the difference between talking and doing. So when the work gets hard, your brain asks, why suffer? We already got the reward. This is why motivation fades. This is why discipline feels heavy. Because discipline is built where rewards are absent, in boredom, in repetition, in silence. Adam made a quiet decision. He didn't announce it, didn't promise anything. He just stopped talking. The next time he felt inspired, he wrote nothing publicly. He told no one. He woke up early and worked quietly. Some days were slow. Some days felt useless. No applause, no validation. Just him and the work. He failed many times, but something was different. There was no audience to disappoint, so he kept going. Slowly, weeks passed, then months. Tiny changes appeared. Not dramatic, but real. He trusted himself a little more. He felt calm instead of rushed. Others noticed, but he didn't explain. He just smiled. The seed had broken the surface. And this time it was strong. Now let me ask you, where are you talking instead of building? Where are you sharing instead of practicing? What dream are you digging up too early? You don't need a new plan. You need silence. You don't need more motivation. You need patience. You don't need to prove anything. You need to grow, quietly. Let this be your turning point. Not a loud one, a quiet one. And if this message stayed with you, sit with it. Share it only if it feels right. And then go back to your life and work in silence. Continue, let's stay here a little longer. Because the quiet path doesn't end the moment you start walking it. That's where most people misunderstand it. Silence is not magic. It doesn't remove doubt. It doesn't erase fear. It just removes noise. And when the noise is gone, you begin to hear things you've been avoiding. Adam noticed this. In the silence, his excuses became louder, not the dramatic kind, the soft ones. I'm tired today. I deserve a break. I'll do extra tomorrow. He realized something uncomfortable. Motivation wasn't his real problem. Comfort was. Comfort whispered kindly. It never shouted. It never threatened. It said, just rest a bit longer. You've already done enough. No one will know. And for the first time, Adam didn't fight it aggressively. He didn't shame himself. He simply noticed it. Like watching a thought float by. And then he chose differently, not perfectly, just slightly. Some days the work felt meaningless. He would sit there doing the same small task again and again. No excitement, no spark, just repetition. And his mind would ask, what's the point? That question is dangerous, not because it's wrong, but because it arrives before results do. The mind wants proof before effort, but life works the opposite way. Effort comes first, proof comes later. Adam learned to work without answers, without guarantees, without applause. This was the hardest part. Weeks passed. Something subtle changed inside him. He stopped rushing outcomes, stopped imagining how impressed others would be, stopped measuring himself against timelines he never agreed to. Instead, he measured one thing only. Did I show up today? Some days the answer was no. And instead of quitting, he simply showed up the next day. That was new. Before, one failure meant the end. Now failure was just a pause, not a conclusion. This is how discipline is really built. Not through intensity, through forgiveness. Forgiveness that keeps you moving. Adam started to feel a quiet confidence, not the loud kind that needs to be seen. The kind that settles in your chest and says, I can rely on myself. And that feeling is rare because it's earned slowly. Months later, people began to notice, not his words, his presence. He spoke less, but when he spoke, it carried weight. He moved differently, calmer, more grounded. Someone asked him once, how did you change? Adam thought for a moment. Then he smiled. I stopped announcing my life, he said, and started living it. Now let me speak to you directly, you who are listening, you who are quietly hoping this story is about you. It is. You don't need to disappear from the world. You just need to disappear from the performance. Stop performing progress. Stop seeking proof too early. Your life is not a trailer, it's a film. And the best scenes are built off camera. Ask yourself tonight, what is one small action I can take that no one needs to know about? Not impressive, not dramatic, just honest. And then do it. Tomorrow, do it again. And when doubt comes, and it will, don't argue with it, just keep walking. Because real success rarely announces itself. It arrives quietly. And when it does, you won't need to explain anything. Your life will speak for you. If this story touched something inside you, sit with it. Let it settle. And if you share it, do so gently. Quiet paths are best walked without crowds. Take care of the seed and let it grow. Continue. There is something else no one tells you about the quiet path. It is lonely at first. Not the kind of loneliness where you have no people, but the kind where no one can see what you are becoming yet. Adam felt this deeply. Before, when he talked about his plans, people checked in on him. They asked questions. They encouraged him. Now no one asked. No one knew. And in the beginning, that felt empty. He would finish a long day of work and think, does this even matter if no one sees it? That thought visited him often. And every time it came, it carried an old hunger. The hunger to be noticed. To be approved. To be told, you're doing great. That hunger is human. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you were taught slowly over years that your value lives in other people's reactions. Adam didn't try to kill that hunger. He simply stopped feeding it. He noticed how often he reached for his phone after doing something difficult, not to rest, but to be seen. He noticed how his mood rose and fell based on attention. And for the first time, he asked a quiet question. What if I learned to sit with effort without reward? That question changed everything. The first weeks were uncomfortable. He would complete a task and feel nothing. No rush, no pride, just tired. And that scared him, because before, motivation came from excitement. Now excitement was gone. What remained was something unfamiliar, steadiness. It didn't feel inspiring, it felt plain, but it was reliable. This is the stage where most people quit. Not because it's hard, but because it's quiet. They mistake silence for failure. They think, if this were working, I would feel more. But growth doesn't always feel like rising. Sometimes it feels like staying, showing up when nothing is happening, trusting movement you cannot yet measure. Adam stayed. He stayed on days that felt pointless. He stayed on days where he doubted himself. He stayed even when the old voice returned and said, you could talk about this, people would support you. But he didn't. He protected the work. Like you protect a fragile flame from wind. Over time, something subtle happened. The work stopped feeling like punishment. It became familiar, like brushing your teeth, like walking a known path. No drama, just part of life. And that's when progress quietly accelerated, because consistency compounds, not loudly but deeply. Adam made mistakes, many. He wasted days, he lost focus. But here's what changed. He stopped making those mistakes mean something about who he was. Before, one bad week meant I'm not disciplined. Now it meant I had a bad week. That difference is everything, because shame makes you stop. Compassion lets you continue. As months passed, Adam noticed a new feeling: peace. Not happiness, peace. The kind that comes from alignment, from knowing your actions match your values, from trusting yourself again. He no longer needed to convince himself he was serious. His habits told the truth. People started responding to him differently, not with excitement, with respect. They listened when he spoke. They sensed something solid, and this time it didn't inflate him, because his confidence didn't come from them. It came from the hours no one saw. Now let's slow down and come back to you. You may be waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect feeling, but the quiet path doesn't begin with readiness. It begins with honesty. Honesty about where you are. Honesty about what you avoid. Honesty about how often you trade future growth for present comfort. And none of that makes you bad. It makes you human. Ask yourself gently, where have I been loud to feel alive, instead of patient to become strong? What am I announcing too early? What would change if I worked quietly for the next 30 days and told no one? No posts, no explanations, just action. This isn't about disappearing forever. It's about building privately so you don't have to explain publicly. It's about letting results speak instead of intentions. Adam didn't become perfect. He became consistent. And that changed his life, not overnight, but permanently. One evening much later, he walked past the same park. The bench was empty. The old man wasn't there, but Adam didn't need him anymore. The lesson had taken root. He smiled quietly and kept walking. If you're still listening, maybe this is your moment, not to start something big, but to commit to something small, something quiet, something real. No one needs to know, just you. Let the world be loud. You grow in silence. And when the time comes, you won't need to announce your arrival. They'll feel it. Long ending with channel name SnapMinted before we end. Let's slow this moment down, because endings matter, not loud endings, quiet ones, the kind that stay with you after the sound fades. If you look back at your life honestly, you will notice something gentle but true. The moments that changed you the most were not announced. They happened quietly. A decision you didn't tell anyone about, a habit you built alone, a boundary you set silently, a night you chose differently. No one clapped, no one noticed, but you did, and that was enough. The quiet path does not promise speed. It promises depth. It does not make you impressive quickly. It makes you unshakable slowly. And that kind of strength cannot be borrowed, copied, or faked. It is grown. Right now, somewhere inside you, there is a version of you that already knows this. The version that is tired of noise, tired of explaining, tired of restarting loudly. That version is not asking for hype. It is asking for commitment. Gentle, private, consistent. You don't need to disappear from the world. You just need a season where your effort matters more than attention, where progress matters more than praise, where becoming matters more than being seen. If doubt whispers tonight, let it. If fear shows up tomorrow, let it. You don't have to feel ready. You only have to keep showing up when no one is watching. That is where real confidence is born. And one day, not suddenly, not dramatically, you will notice something. You will stand a little straighter, speak a little calmer, trust yourself a little more, not because life became easier, but because you became steadier. Pause, that is the quiet reward, that is the real success. Pause if this story felt like a mirror, take that as a sign, not to rush, but to begin, silently. And if you want more reflections like this, stories that don't shout, that don't rush you, that don't treat growth like a performance, this space exists for that reason. The name is SnapMinted. A quiet place for quiet growth. If you stay, stay gently. If you leave, leave with intention. Either way, walk your path softly. Let your work speak later. This was SnapMinted, and this was a reminder. You don't need to be loud to become powerful.